going on, everybody? Who's ready for a beer? I think I'm ready for a beer. What's up, Lee? How you doing, brother? Well, at least you had an early day today, at least. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. What's up, Pam? How you doing? Oh, okay. Yep, usual time. Up, 4 o'clock, people. Let's do this. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. And today, we're kind of sticking in the state of North Carolina for these next, I guess, since yesterday's and today, because we're going all the way from one part of North Carolina going all the way to Charlotte. So today, we're going to be looking at some ice cream paint job from Divine Barrel Brewing. Look at that. Nice little clean label. Little ice cream cone. Kind of upside down, all spilled and everything, but I'm a really big fan of their kind of their logo and their everything, because it's like a barrel kind of broken down and all that stuff. So I think that is really, really cool. I like the clean label. This guy comes in at a whopping 4.6%. It's a fruited Berliner Weiss kind of style ale with Tangerine, cocoa nibs, vanilla, and lactose. So I'm expecting a really nice, creamy, a little bit tart from the tangerine, but yeah, before we get into that, let's talk about Divine Barrel Brewing really quick, because their story of how they kind of picked their name for the brewery is really, really cool. So the divine part is really twofold. First, when dealing with wild yeast and bacteria, which can be a fickle at best of times, you can often need a little help from the universe. Some may call it luck, others might call it fate, and some would even go as far as call it divine intervention. However you label it, we've learned that when dealing with beers like this, the brewer controls what he or she can, and the rest is up to the bugs and Mother Nature. The second part of divine comes from some fairly simple definitions of the word itself. One definition we're particularly fond of is unusually lovely. All beer should be cared for and nurtured into meeting its full potential. However, with wood fermented and aged wild ales and sours, it's a crazy combination of the brewing process, ingredients, and oak. Some time and some assistance from the outside forces that all play a role in beers like this becoming greater than the sum of the parts. Some of their parts, unusually lovely. And then the barrel age should be more of a self-explanatory kind of situation to where, but shouldn't be overlooked. Without our oak barrels and their foeders, their ability to harbor our culture and wild and sour program wouldn't be the same. On top of that, the wood itself becomes an ingredient and offers up some kind of its own characters to these finished beers. Ultimately, our names came out of the combination of our passion of quality beer, much finger crossing, and a unique role wood plays in the fermenting and aging and the hope that we've created something that will be memorable and amazing. So this brewery kind of likes sticking to the whole motto of a lot of their stuff is like barrel aged / they like kind of dealing with more like a sour, like a wild ale kind of thing, but they also experiment with like doing IPAs, and today we're looking at a fruited Berliner Weiss style ale from them. So I'm pretty excited. I really like companies that kind of stick to a style that they're really fond of when it comes to barrel aging or something like that. I'm a big fan of barrel aged beers. So when it comes to a brewery wanting to perfect their craft, when it comes to that situation, you can just only have high expectations, because if it's their passion, they're going to try their hardest to make the best quality product they're going to come out with. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what this guy's all about. I'm hoping for some nice tart tangerine kind of flavors going in this, along with like a nice creamy kind of, maybe like, I don't know, like vanilla, chocolate. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting combination. So let's crack this guy open. Let's see what we get on the smell on this guy right away. Oh yeah, right off the bat, like a nice tart tangerine right off the bat. So I'm like curious. This is really going to be decently sour, because I'm hoping that tangerine brings out a nice little tart note in there. But I'm hoping with all that lactose and the cocoa nibs, that's going to kind of give it like a chocolatey, vanilla kind of undertone to kind of balance it out with sweetness, to where it's just not really tart, acidic kind of in your face, to where it's just going to have a nice sweet finish, and it's going to be over a really creamy, really like pillowy, soft mouthfeel. Yeah, this smells delicious. So let's give this guy a pour. I'm going to be drinking out of my Black Horizon Brewing Company little glass here, so let's see how this guy pours. Oh yeah, definitely getting a little thicker the more I pour it. Definitely has not as like thick as I thought it would be, but that's okay. I'm curious how this is going to incorporate. Maybe getting towards the bottom, it's going to get a little thicker, but that's fine. It definitely has more of that kind of not as like thick and creamy kind of look, but definitely has that like hazy kind of look to it as well. Really nice color. Definitely has that like nice kind of like orangish yellow to it. Not really much of a head, which is kind of expectable when it comes to like a fruited sour / Berliner Weiss style. Yeah, that tart tangerine smell just hits you right in the face. And yeah, I'm really excited for this one. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try. So cheers, everybody. Whoa. Okay, there's a lot going on there. Right off the bat, that tart tangerine hits you right in the face. But then you get like a chocolatey vanilla kind of undertones a little bit to where it kind of balances out with sweetness, but then right at the end you get that like token like Berliner Weiss, like a Weiss style beer finish with like some of the barley kind of taste in there, a little maybe like a wheat kind of situation going. But yeah, this is really, really kind of has like a effervescent, bubbly kind of mouthfeel a little bit. Yeah, I want to see if, let's see if it gets a little bit thicker the more. Definitely a little bit of the, not as heavy in like thickness as I would expect from a fruited Berliner Weiss, because especially going towards the bottom here, I would have expected to see a little bit more of like a thicker kind of pour going out, but relatively not as heavy as I thought it would be. It's the mouthfeel isn't as creamy as I thought it would be, but the flavors, it's crazy how you're getting that chocolate and the lactose vanilla creaminess coming through without it having such like a heavy creamy mouthfeel. Yeah, definitely. With that tangerine, I'm kind of getting like an orange. So it's like when you have that kind of tangerine orange flavor mixing with like the vanilla, kind of gives you like a dreamsicle kind of feel at first. But then that chocolate kind of throws you through a loop and it makes it a very, very unique experience. For sure. It's really nice. Because right at the end for me, it's that chocolate along with that kind of Berliner Weiss style flavor that hits me right at the end, which is it's a very, very interesting combination in my opinion. And it's working, to be honest. It's actually something that I'm really enjoying. So let's see what the actual profile of this one is. Let's kind of break it down a little bit. So with each silky slurp of today's fresh off the can line chocolate tangerine ice cream paint job, let's see. I guess it's saying they're growing really nostalgic. It's like licking up a melty double scoop of Rocky Road and creamsicle ice cream. So Divine Barrel crafts it with massive amounts of tangy tangerine and rich vanilla for refreshing layers of citrus cream, and then they add a hint of cocoa nibs and velvety lactose to recreate the soft and sweet desserty goodness of a mile-high sundae topped with a dollop of whipped cream. So flavors of chocolate dipped marshmallow explode in the forefront of the palate. On the finish, a subdued citrusy tartness lingers, pulling you in for another lick or sip. So for me, I'm kind of getting it the opposite way, where they're saying the chocolate and like the vanilla hits you at first, but then it goes into the tangerine and like the citrusy situation. I'm getting the exact opposite, to where I'm getting the citrusy tangerine orange kind of flavor with that vanilla at first, but then I get like a chocolatey mix with that kind of like the barley Berliner Weiss style of beer right at the end, which is, it's weird, but it works. It's hard to explain how this is working, but it's just actually creating a really enjoyable experience, not gonna lie. It has notes of feeling like this was like the maybe sitting in like a barrel or like more of like an aged kind of fermented style, just because that tangerine has like a little bit of like a funk to it, but not in a bad way. When I say funk in a beer, it's just like they're letting those bacteria kind of break things down a little bit, and they're bringing it out more of like an interesting kind of tang to it. It kind of adds more of a tang to the tangerine, where it's like tartness. You're gonna get the tartness from like maybe like an unripened, or maybe kind of a, I think when it comes to a tangerine, I've seen when it's on the riper side, it kind of gets more of a sweetness, but then when it's like, they like adding fruits to where it's like on the kind of on the unripened side a little bit to give you more of that tart flavor. And you could definitely tell there's some kind of like an orange kind of feel in there as well, because the tangerine and that orange citrus blast that hits you right at first is really enjoyable, and that kind of vanilla mixing in there kind of at first giving that like creamsicle like flavor, along with that kind of chocolate note that hits at the end. It's very, very unique. And for this having like the cocoa nibs in there, the color is relatively like nice golden yellow orange colors on there. Not as much of a creamy mouthfeel to me, but that's okay, because the flavors are still kind of messing with your head a little bit to expect a creamy mouthfeel, just because with the lactose and all that stuff in there, and then those reminiscent like creamsicle flavors along with that chocolate that hits you right at the end. But yeah, they did a fabulous job on this one. It's kind of there's so much going on with this one to where it's very unique, very different from what you would usually expect from this style of beer. Like, my expectations going into this was like heavy, creamy, nice tartness from the tangerine, getting like a nice chocolate along with just a complete opposite experience of what I'm getting right now. And with this experience, I'm surprised at how well it's actually working. I don't know. It's really nice. I really like it. So, let's start going through and breaking down some things here when it comes to our ratings. So, can art. Yeah, I really like the can art to this one. It has that kind of feel of like it was painted onto the label, which is nice. So it's like somebody spilled their ice cream cone, ice cream paint job kind of situation. Kind of gives that painted kind of look. I really like their logo when it comes to the Divine Barrel logo. Kind of having like an exploded view of a barrel, which is really, really cool. The white label just makes it look clean. Definitely a nice... They kind of took advantage of the real estate they had on the can and kind of made the picture with the ice cream paint job a little bit bigger, which is nice. Along they just tell you right on the bottom what's in there, kind of style of beer and all it is. And then on the back you have ABV, warnings, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, really, really cool can art. Definitely something that caught my attention just because when I see ice cream and like kind of things in fruited Berliner Weiss style of beer, I get excited already because But yeah, really, really cool can art. I'm going to go with maybe out of 5. Let's see. I'll give that a solid like 3.75 out of 5. Really nice. Definitely seeing that like upside down ice cream cone would give me something to like catch my attention when it comes to seeing this at a liquor store or a bottle shop for sure. And plus, I kind of look at, I don't know, when you think of white at like a white label, if you see it at a liquor store or bottle shop, it kind of catches you right away just because you don't really see that many labels that are just white. There's always some kind of like either black or different kind of colors mixed in with that, but not a lot of times you just see a white label with art on there. So that's really cool they did that. It's something that makes you notice their beer really quickly if you would see it at a liquor store or a bottle shop for sure. But yeah, before I get into the other ratings, I forgot to mention like what my kind of tartness scale on this guy would be. Out of 5, let's see how much tartness it is. I'd probably give this maybe like a nice 3 out of 5 when it comes to how tart it is for me. So it's not too tart. Definitely the notes kind of flush away the tartness when it comes to the chocolate and that vanilla being in there. Kind of doesn't leave the tartness on your tongue for too long, which is really nice. So let's see. If I got this tangerine chocolate ice cream paint job in a flight at Divine Barrel, would I get another one? Honestly, it depends on if there was something else there that I had in that flight that would be more like kind of the creamier mouthfeel side. Because when it comes to that style of beer, that's like, I guess it's because I'm so used to that mouthfeel to where getting all those same flavors when it comes to having like a creamy mouthfeel kind of Berliner Weiss style beer, and then getting that kind of aromatic, effervescent, kind of bubbly mouthfeel instead, but still getting all those same flavors. I probably would get one just on the fact of how unique of it changes your experience of what you would expect out of a fruited Berliner Weiss. It takes what you are so used to when it comes to that style of beer and it kind of turns it on its side. And you're like, nope, you're getting something completely new. You're going to get those same flavors, but you're going to get a completely different experience. And that's what I think is really cool about this one and kind of gives it that very unique kind of style to it where it's kind of changed a little bit of what I thought a fruited Berliner Weiss's like mouthfeel was. That's what I'm most surprised about this is. And it's definitely very, very, they did it really well. Really, really well. So, before I go into my final rating, let's see what people on Untappd said about this guy. So, like I said before, this is a 4.6%. So, yeah, relatively easy drinker. I would say so for sure. This says it has an average 5 IBUs, which, yeah, there should be a little bit of, not really much of a hoppy bitterness at all to this one. And with over 776 ratings on Untapped, this guy has an average rating of 3.93 on Untapped, which is relatively good. It's a definitely good rating for the amount of people that's given this one a rating. So, let's see. Somebody gave it a 4.25, saying cream on the inside, clean on the outside. For sure, I definitely agree with that. Another 4.25, luscious tangerine living in the forest of lactose nibs. Let's see, another 4.25, 4.5, another 4. So purchase off Tavor right there. Let's see, 3.75, saying the citrus red up front with a nice, fresh and lactose vanilla lent, a smooth mouthfeel after sitting the cocoa nibs were almost non-existent. So they gave it a 3.75. So what they're saying is they got the nice citrus with the vanilla, but then that kind of chocolatey thing towards the end was pretty much not there anymore. Which, I'm curious to see if I get that same experience like the more I drink down in this, because right off the bat when you drink it, you're definitely still getting that chocolate taste in there. But with it over time kind of getting to that room temperature kind of situation, I'm curious if that chocolate will just kind of fade away. And let's see, somebody give it a 4 out of 5, another purchase off Tavor, another 4 out of 5 off Tavor. Let's see, 4 out of 5 said they purchased it at the Tasty Beverage Company. Another 4 out of 5 from Tavor. Let's see, somebody gave it a 3.25, purchase at the Southern Pines Growler Company. 4.25 saying real delicious, lots of flavor. So yeah, relatively pretty good ratings on this one. Everybody really likes that citrus note to it, that kind of tangerine citrus, along with that kind of creamy like vanilla taste, without getting that. I think it's still a kind of really a spectacular thing that they did, where you can get that kind of creamy vanilla taste without having the mouthfeel to kind of match up with it, which is definitely one of the most unique things I think about this beer, which is one of my favorite parts of it, to be honest. Having like completely like what you expect the creamy kind of beer would be, and have the mouthfeel be the complete opposite of what you expect. And that's really, really cool if they did that. That takes some technique and experience to do that. So big shout outs to the co-founders over at Divine Barrel, Mr. Ben Doplins, Gavin Toth, and Scott Davis. You guys are, for my first beer drinking from you guys, this is definitely, you guys are definitely putting yourselves on the map of somebody I need to look out for, just because you're creating a very unique experience out of this. And yeah, flavor, you knocked it out of the park with this one, I think. Really, really delicious. So let's see what my final rating on this guy is going to be. I really like the flavors I'm getting. The tart tangerine mixing with like kind of like an orange flavor is really nice. And then you get that nice vanilla in there to kind of give you that orange creamsicle kind of taste. And then that kind of chocolatey note mixing with that kind of token Berliner Weiss style of flavor. It's hard to explain. Kind of gets like barley wheat kind of situations in there. Mixing with that chocolate, it's a very unique experience with that. Not really creamy on the mouthfeel, which I'm not against, because like I said before, how it's completely changing what I thought of what I would expect this beer right off the bat before I even drank it, and it's completely turned it over. Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's kind of a way for them to set themselves apart from other breweries around that area or around the country. So that's really cool that they did that. So I think with this one, I'm going to give this one a solid 8 out of 10. Really, really good. I would have liked to see what the kind of experience would have been like if this had that kind of creamy mouthfeel a little bit, instead of that kind of bubbly, effervescent kind of style. But overall, the flavors are fantastic. They really, really nailed it in the head when it comes to the flavors they were trying to get out of this one. And yeah, it's absolutely delicious. I would highly recommend, if you're in the North Carolina, the Charlotte area, go over to Divine Barrel and try out some of their stuff. From this kind of experience that I've had for this first beer that I've had from them, they're kind of getting me interested in seeing what they do on like the more barrel aged side when it comes to maybe like stouts or maybe like a kind of a sour kind of situation. I want to see what they can do with their barrels when it comes to their sour side or their stout side of things. And maybe try a couple of their IPAs. I want to see what these guys can do with some hops. But overall, really, really fantastic beer. Always really cool to try new stuff. So if you're in the Charlotte area, go over to Divine Barrel Brewing. Show them some love. Or you can find them in a liquor store or bottle shop near you. Definitely give it a try. It's definitely worth checking out. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. And make sure if you're hanging out right now, hit that like button on your way out. It would help me out a lot. But if you're looking to try some other stuff from Divine Barrel, go over to Tavour. I've talked about them plenty of times before. It's a beer subscription / beer delivery service to where you can either build your own box situation to where you can choose what kind of beers you want to put in your box off of the list they show on the app, or you can kind of give them the kind of beers that you like when it comes to like maybe like a stout or a sour or an IPA. And they'll send you random beers that fit that style per month. So you can be surprised or you can choose what you would want to get. And unfortunately, they kind of have like limitations of where they ship stuff. I know places like down in Dallas, you can get it shipped there. You can get it shipped to like areas around DC or the northwest suburbs of Illinois. But I would highly recommend giving Tavour a try if you're just interested in trying new stuff, because they have over 7,000 different beers available from breweries all around the country. So you'll never really find something that tastes similar to one another, because with there being so many breweries out there, you're always going to get a different experience. So, and if you're looking to see more of a social media aspect of beer drinkers and kind of having a little platform to where all the craft beer fans could go talk about what they like and kind of see what other people are drinking, head over to Untapped. There's an app. You can create an account, check in beers that you enjoy, give them ratings, tell them where you purchased them, all that kind of stuff. So if you have Untapped, my link to my profile is down in the description below. Shoot me a friend request. I want to see what other people are drinking as well. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So thank you everybody again for tuning in. You guys are amazing. And if you're new to the channel and you're watching this for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell. We'll let you know whenever I go live doing another review. And yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody again. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. So guys, I'm going to say this like I always do. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And since it's a specific day, may the 4th be with you. Cheers.